Hello, Man in Gray here with another Man in Gray book review. Today's book is an unusual one. It's called Weather Report, The Complete Guide, and it's by the Wikipedians. It's 134 pages, and it was published by Pedia Press 2 weeks ago. First of all, a little bit about Weather Report. Weather Report was a jazz fusion band that was founded in 1970 and disbanded in 1986. It was led by the Austrian keyboardist Joe Zawinul and the American saxophonist Wayne Shorter, both of whom played in Miles Davis's legendary pioneering fusion band. Weather Report's also known for introducing the great electric bass player Jaco Pastorius to a wider audience. Weather Report was one of the most popular jazz fusion bands of the 70s and 80s, and also one of the most critically acclaimed. They were nominated for 6 Grammy Awards and won one of them. And they also won the Downbeat Magazine Album of the Year award one year. This book is unusual, as I said at the beginning, because it's a book that's made up entirely of Wikipedia articles about the band. It contains the main Wikipedia article about Weather Report. It has articles about Wayne Shorter, Joe Zawinul, and Jaco Pastorius, and a number of the other band musicians. They went through a lot of drummers, so there's a bunch of drummers in here. There's also a series of short articles about all the albums that they released, and it's all together in this little book. Now, Wikipedia, as I'm sure you know, is an online encyclopedia that was founded in 2001 by a guy named Jimmy Wales, and it's become the most popular and widely used encyclopedia in the world. And it's essentially a group project. All of the articles are written by anonymous volunteers. They're also edited by anonymous volunteers. And in the early days, Wikipedia was quite controversial because there were doubts about its accuracy, because anybody could go online and edit pages and change them up however they wanted. And some pages were constantly being flipped back and forth by people with different political positions or things like that. Eventually, Wales and the Wikipedia Foundation set up a kind of a board of super editors who have the ability to lock down pages. And so some of the most used access pages are locked, and they can only be changed with permission of one of these super editors. And so since then, there's been a lot less hacking of the articles by conspiracy theorists or political fanatics or whatever. And so basically, it's an online evolving encyclopedia. Now, Pedia Press is a print-on-demand company based in Germany, and for about 5 or 6 years, they had an agreement with Wikipedia that allowed you to pick articles from Wikipedia and have them printed in a book format. Unfortunately, Wikipedia stopped supporting this a few years ago. The technical complexities got too great for them, so they stopped doing it. But Pedia Press still maintains a back catalog of some of these books that were put together by people that you can still order, and that's what I did. This book was printed just for me a couple of weeks ago, and like I said, it has all the articles from Wikipedia about Weather Report. And so you can go to Pedia Press's catalog site and still pull up some of these books that were printed by various people on various topics. The longer the book, the more expensive it is. There's somebody put together a book of all of the Superman articles on Wikipedia, and it's something like 2,100 pages long, and it cost over $100 American to print it. You've got to be a pretty fanatical Superman fan to want to read 2,000 pages of Wikipedia articles about Superman, but someone did. So anyway, I chose this book because I was a teenager in the 60s or 70s when Weather Report was at its peak popularity, and so I remember the band. They did have one big pop hit, a tune called Birdland, which became a hit on the pop charts as well as the jazz charts, and it's still performed today. It's a standard tune performed by a lot of jazz musicians. So I was interested in this. Now, there's several questions that probably arise from something like this. One thing you're probably thinking is, why would you pay money to read Wikipedia articles in a book when you can just read them on your phone for free? And that's a fair question. However, there are some advantages to having all these articles together in a book format. There's almost 40 Wikipedia articles that involve Weather Report in some way. And so that'd be kind of a pain to have to flip through your phone looking for all these. You'd have to look up Weather Report and then Pistorius and then Wayne Shorter and then all the albums and so forth. So it's nice to have them all together here. Also, of course, this, like all books, doesn't need electricity or internet access. So if you're off somewhere, if you're on a train or something, you don't have internet access, you can just read this book. And there's kind of a cool factor in having a book like this together. And whoever put this together included photographs. They did a colored photograph cover, and they even included an index in the back. So whoever did this put a lot of work into putting this together. It's a really well-made book. I haven't seen any of the other Pedia Press editions, so I can't vouch for the rest of them, but this one is quite good. So, it's fun. It's cool to have a book made up like this in Wikipedia articles. It would be even cooler if I could put one together myself, but can't do that anymore. But the back catalog is still available. A second question you might have is, how accurate is this? Because as we said, Wikipedia was notorious for being hacked and so forth. Well, I looked up some of the stuff in other sources, and from what I can tell, this book is pretty accurate. I didn't see any major mistakes or anything about that. Third question is, well, how good is it as a book? And the answer is it's pretty good. It is, of course, encyclopedia articles, so it's supposed to be written in a kind of objective style. If I'd gotten a book, I don't think there is one, but if there had been somebody written a book about Weather Report, it probably would have been written in a more personal style. If you've ever read any books on jazz, there's a lot of subjective personal opinions involved in these books. And, people will say, well, this is the best album and here's why, and this track is the best on the album and so forth. You don't get any of that in here. The articles in here about the various albums are really just short stubs where they just listed tracks, the number of the musicians who played on it, when it was released, the timing of the album, and things like that. It's very basic. You don't get a whole lot of detailed information about the albums. It's just the basic facts about it. But that's fine. If I were to give this a star rating of 1 to 5 stars, I'd probably give it 3 or 3.5 stars. It's a decent book. I did learn some stuff about Weather Report that I didn't know before, and so it's certainly worth reading if you're a fan of that band. And it's just, like I said, kind of a fun thing to do, to read a book made up of Wikipedia articles all put together in one place. So if you're interested in this, you can go to the Pedia Press website and look at their catalog and scroll through there and see if there's anything in there you might want to look at. It is possible. Pedia Press has said that they're working, they're working on reestablishing some kind of web program where you could do this again, where you could pick your own articles and have Pedia Press print them up. One other thing before I close this out. Print on demand is becoming increasingly popular, and even with major publishers, because it has the potential to really revolutionize the way books are sold. In the old days, a book would come out and a press would print a whole bunch of copies of it and store it in a warehouse, and then they would ship them out to bookstores. And if the book turned out to be a bestseller, they'd probably do a multiple print run. They'd print more books, store them. But eventually, most books, they sell for a while or don't, and then they stop becoming popular as the time goes on, right? And there's a few books that sell steadily year after year, but most books will sell a lot when they're first released, and then it drops way off. And then eventually, when all the books are emptied out of the warehouse, then the book goes out of print. And the only way you can get a copy of it in the old days was to go to a used bookstore. Now, though, of course, you've got ebooks, which never go out of print. They're always available. And because of print on demand, a lot of publishers now, even big mainstream publishers, are now using print on demand for some of their back catalog books. If there's some book that was published, 8, 9, 10 years ago, and it still sells a few copies every now and then, 2 or 3 times a month, somebody will order it. They can just print it on demand. They have these machines that look kind of like photocopy machines, only they're bigger. And you just run the computer program in there that has the text, and it just prints the book. And so you can print it. And that way, even the major publishers can keep books without ever having them go out of print, because they can just print on demand books that somebody wants, that without having to store a bunch of copies in a warehouse. So it's really changing the whole nature of publication. In any case, the book is called Weather Report, The Complete Guide. It was written by a group of anonymous Wikipedia editors and writers. This has been another Man in Great book review. Thanks for watching. See you again next time.